皆さん、こんにちは。最近どうだったか？元気だったか？ Hey everyone, I'm back. First, a little housekeeping. I apologize for not posting for a long time. I know my 82 subscribers have been patiently waiting, worried about me, worried about my health, but fear not, I am doing just great. I'm back. I'm here in Kansai Rinkai Park in Chiba, one stop away from Tokyo Disney World and Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea. As you can see, there's a beautiful big Ferris wheel. It's a huge park and there's no one here, probably because everyone's at Disneyland. But anyways, purpose of this video is to give you another update on my progress in Japanese. So, first things first, I passed level 3 and level 4 in school. So that's nice. That is 600 hours of classroom study, and that would be a year of school, 1 year of a 2-year program. I don't know if I'm gonna do 2 years, but yeah. So at this point, I would, according to the school's curriculum, my progress, I should be sort of a lower intermediate. Whether I am a lower intermediate at the lower intermediate level or not is another question. But yeah, I really don't have that much to update you guys on. I think there are some sort of interesting little tidbits and sort of, I guess, insights. I guess the most interesting parts would be like what my progress looks like, which areas I've progressed in, which areas have which areas are difficult, less difficult, more difficult. So where should I start? I think I'd start by sort of breaking down Japanese into 4 broad categories, which would be reading, listening, speaking, and writing. And then from there, I'll just talk a little bit about how my progress has been in each of those. So, firstly, I would further split those into 2 categories, which would be writing and reading, and then speaking and listening. So, I am drastically better at listening and speaking. And I'd say if I were to sort of pinpoint the area that I've progressed most, I would probably say listening. It's really nice now because I'm at a point where I can be walking down the street and I sort of eavesdrop on conversations that people have, and the conversations that they're having no longer sound like meaningless gibberish. Like, oh, I actually know the words that these people are saying. Like, that's a word. An image pops into my mind. It's nice. And like, I may not know exactly what they're talking about all the time, But a lot of the times now I'm actually able to pick up on what they're saying and sort of actually get the gist of what they're saying. And, I think once you pick up, 500 words, 1,000 words, you can really start to capture a lot of daily conversation. So that's listening. Speaking as well, like my speaking ability has gone up quite a bit. I mean, I'm nowhere near an advanced level. I would say I'm, probably, I guess, upper beginner, lower intermediate. I can have conversations with people about, what I'm doing in life, what are my hobbies, what am I hoping to do after I go to school, like asking people how to get to station, ask for directions, stuff like that. Just like the basic necessities. I can navigate my way around in groceries. If I need help, I can ask the teller. I mean, I had to go to the clinic. I was totally fine on my own. The post office I managed. I mean, it's not perfect. There are times where I'll still need to pull out Google Translate, but it's just incremental progress. And I think that's definitely one of the things that's continues to be solidified in my mind is just this is a very incremental progress. This is a very incremental process. You're not going to wake up one day and suddenly be fluent in Japanese. I think I've mentioned this on all of my previous videos. Oh wow, this is a cool view. I think I mentioned this on all my previous videos, but you're not just gonna sort of absorb Japanese via osmosis just by, for example, living in Japan. It's a daily grind. Every day is a grind. As you learn stuff, if you don't incorporate what you're learning properly, you start to forget stuff that you learned like a week or two ago or a month or two ago. So you really need to immerse heavily every day. That means if you're a native English speaker, avoid speaking to your native English friends. Immerse with people who speak Japanese as much as possible, as difficult as that can be sometimes. So yeah, that's sort of listening and speaking. I will say that the jump between level 3 and level 4 at school, which was upper beginner to lower intermediate, was quite a big jump for me. I feel like the listening in level 3, the upper beginner, for example, the listening test we had to do, I did pretty well, which is sort of equivalent to JLPT N4, if you guys know what JLPT is. But then the jump to JLPT N3 material, which we sort of covered in level 4, was quite a bit more difficult, and I struggled with that quite a lot. There's just too many new grammar, too much new vocabulary, and they're speaking too fast, and it's, like I say, it's just a grind. You just have to grind it out every day, and you get there. And there are sort of moments in time where you're like, oh yeah, I got this. You sort of hit milestones along the way, which sort of push you and nudge you and help you maintain that motivation. There was one time I was in a restaurant. I was checking out the cherry blossoms, and it was just me and everyone else is Japanese. And so I started talking. There was a family sitting next to me, and I started talking to the baby, and I was like, "Nansai desu ka?" how old are you? Onamai wa, what's your name? And then, like, of course, the mother started talking to me, and we started having conversation in Japanese, and she was just like, firstly, just shocked that I could speak any Japanese, but also that I was like having a proper conversation with her. And I noticed that like everyone else was like, what? Whoa, this guy's speaking Japanese. And like everyone started looking at me. And that was a proud moment for me. It's like, I'm actually making good progress here. And so you get those types of moments which, you know, crop up every now and then. Sort of a reminder that you're moving in the right direction. So anyways, because again, I met a guy who, he's lived in Japan for 4 years, and like he still speaks Japanese at an extremely basic level, and I'm like, why? What do you live here? You've lived here for 4 years. What are you doing? And it kind of blew my mind. It's like, you really can just isolate yourself from the language, and you know, if you don't put the effort in, you're not going to make progress quickly. So yeah, that's sort of listening and speaking. Now, writing and reading. So a caveat on writing, I guess. I think writing is probably for me at least, the least important of the 4 skills, in the sense that, you know, you don't really need to memorize how to write 2,000 kanji in order to thrive here. I don't think. You might hit some embarrassing situations, for example, like when you go to the doctor, or I don't know, you need to fill out your address, but you don't know how to write the kanji for your address. It's not a problem. And so I haven't really focused on writing besides what we've had to do on our kanji tests at school. And actually those have actually gone really, really well. But the problem with writing is that if you don't use it, it's very easy to forget. Like the kanji for yasashi, for example, I spent ages remembering how to write that. And I went back like a week after the test to see if I could remember it. It's just gone. And so the motivation to learn kanji, to learn how to write kanji isn't there for me. And then reading, specifically reading comprehension, is by far the most challenging of the 4 categories, and the thing that I struggle with the most. And it makes a lot of sense, right? Because reading comprehension combines all these different factors. So like when you read a passage, you need to understand the kanji, you need kanji knowledge, you need to understand sentence structure and grammar. So you need grammar, you need vocab, you need a large vocabulary. You combine all these factors in order to fully understand the meaning and, you know, any nuance that there might be. And right now, at the intermediate level, it's just hugely challenging. And so that's what I'm sort of trying to focus on these days. You really just have to take it a day at a time. You have to make reading a habit. Try to read something every day. There are lots of resources on the internet. There's like rated readers where sort of there are books available that are use vocab and grammar specific to your level, etc., etc. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not too much more to update you on. Um, I'm still alive. I'm still going for it. This is definitely a years long project. Again, and I say this every time too, but if you're thinking of learning Japanese, first I would recommend getting a psychiatric evaluation. And if you're deemed mentally unfit, just head straight to the asylum and save yourself some time. If you're deemed mentally sane, proceed to Japan and give it your all. Good luck. Yeah, I will. Thanks for listening. As always, I will catch you guys hopefully at the end of level 5. All right. Take care. Be good. Until next time. Sayonara.